Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's topic is one that I was a little bit unsure whether I should even cover because, well, it's a little bit of a contested issue and I personally have very strong feelings on the subject, so I was unsure whether I should make a video or not, and if it's correct I'll cover this topic. But since a lot of people are using this site, I figured that it's time. So today's video is about Pd2 tools. Let me pull the site so you guys can see exactly what I see. This is Pd2 tools, and despite this area being very white and very difficult to read, it does spell out Pd2 tools is not officially affiliated with the Project Diablo 2 team or something like that. It's just really hard for me to read, but it's something to that extent. So off the get-go, Pd2 Tools is a site that tracks information about Pd2, but it is not by the Pd2 team. That's the TLDR of what I'm trying to say. Despite all of that, and despite all of my strong feelings about one of its main uses, I actually think this is a very useful site. It has very important uses that could be really helpful both to new players and more experienced players. So let's get to it and cover the uses and the things you should know about Pd2 Tools. The first thing that you can do with Pd2 Tools is hop on the build viewer. You'll see that it gives you a bunch of information like characters tracked, characters exported, economy items tracked, item listings tracked, and active tools. It will also say what's the corrupted zone and like if the servers are okay, how many players are in the game. The first tab that you get is the build tracker, and you can see here a bunch of people who's playing right now. You can check their characters. For example, I can find somebody I know or somebody I don't know. I can choose a class if I'm playing a specific class and just check out builds from players who are high level, who are more likely to have a finished build that I can maybe look at and be inspired from. It also tracks like items, like which items are like used a lot, and like what they are, who are they used by. Which skills are used often, so like Blade Shield, Penetrate, Blade Sentinel, these are like Assassin and Amazon skills just because they're like more popular classes, so obviously they're used a little more. But yeah, basically you can hop on, let's say Pascal, let's say I don't know who that is, I do, but let's say I don't. I can check their character and I can see they have 20 points in Might, 13 in Fanaticism, Blessed Aim, Concentration, which are prerequisites, 20 in Charge, 20 in Holy Sword, and I see 19 in Vigor, 8 in Resist Fire, so I can tell this is probably a bosser type Charge Paladin. They got a Doombringer, that's what they chose to use, and this way I can kind of scout their character, and maybe in the future if I want to make one for myself, this is a really nice amulet. I can always like look at it and kind of learn from this and just like work around with it. So it's like one big use of the site, tracking other people's characters. In addition, it would let you export the save files if you wanted to try these characters in single player. So if you ever want to kind of like test around, see if you can replicate results in single player, this is like really allowing you to do that, which is really, really cool. Because sometimes people are afraid to practice on the live servers and they want to practice in single player in less stressful environment. So this is like a really good way to do it. So yeah, I can just choose whoever is here, no problem. I can choose a Necromancer. Let's play a Necromancer. Let's see what this Necro got. So they're like a Summon Necromancer. You see they have like a bunch of like 45 life summoning. They have a Beast. They have a Phoenix, a Shaco. And they got Skeleton Mastery, Ray Skeleton. So they're probably a Green Goblin type Necromancer. So again, we just kind of can learn from this and kind of copy builds in order to try them for ourselves, or to just, play around and learn from other people. So this is the first tab, the build viewer tab. Very, very useful. The second build, I'm skipping this one, I'll get to it last because it's kind of like the main issue of the video. Character Exporter, this is the second tab that we're going to talk about. And basically, this is a very simple tab. You can insert a character and name. It can be any character, it doesn't need to be your character. And they have like very useful explanation of how things work. Right, how those things work on Pluggy. If you use Pluggy, you can use this in single player. Can export non-ladder character, right? So again, very, very useful site, very simple to use. There's like a disclaimer here. There's a tool, work in progress, below the current issues. There's some stuff that don't work as they should. Rune words are normal rarity and missing their names. They have the correct mods. So again, this is like a very nice effort from people to give players tools to kind of improve at the game or learn about the game, which is a very cool thing. And generally, we should always appreciate people putting in their time to make something that's useful for the community. So this is the character exporter, works hand in hand with the build viewer. This is the corrupted zone tracker. Generally, there is another site that tracks them, but again, you can kind of put in like which ones you want to look at, right? You can like mark everything, you can mark only some of them if you want to, and get notifications for the ones that you care about. So again, it's like up to you. This will tell you how long the current one is going to be corrupted for, the next one, and how long that's going to be relevant, right? So a very simple tab, not very complicated. For people who are farming corrupted zones, that's very, very useful. And the last one, statistics, is of course something that I'm personally very interested in. I can show you how many people are playing on softcore and on hardcore. I can show you the level distribution of characters, so kind of like how people are going on about their season. You can see that like around 98 and 99, now a lot less people are reaching 98, but the people who reach 98 are slowly transitioning into 99. It shows you also how many players are in the last day, week, 2 weeks, 1 month. And you can kind of see like what's the dead hours, what's the good hours for each day. This shows based on my time, I believe. So again, like my midday is like kind of a dead zone, but a few hours later it becomes the peak of every day, and it's kind of like the same every day. People have like similar schedules. This is like, I think when they took the servers down, so don't get stressed over this. So again, this is like kind of a representation of the player base. It's kind of cool to see. You can see there's like some sort of stagnation around like here, around like the 3 to 2k mark, and that's where we're at right now. So yeah, just again, more information about the game. You can always learn more if you look at these kind of stats and take from them to learn about the game. So it's always really, really nice. And now we covered everything that I think is super cool about the site, and now it's the time to talk about the more contentious issue, which is the economy tab. So if I press on the economy tab, alright, sorry, I got a few messages from the trade side and they really threw me off, but let's get back to the economy tab. So once you press this tab, this is what you're going to be seeing. You're going to see a currency, rune, Ubers, and map tab. And generally speaking, 2 warnings. One, it says prices may be inaccurate, especially for items with low amount of listings. So it kind of shows you how much listings are per item. And this is taken from the last 7 days, so they're using the archive, I'm assuming. It also tries to show like a trend in like prices, like if they go up or down. And it also says this is only for softcore, only available for softcore. I don't know if it's for the moment or in general, if it's only going to be ever for softcore. But these are like the 2 other warnings that the site shows you. Now, here is my problem with the currency, with the economy tab. Generally speaking, I think that it has a bit of a misleading effect, and especially during the beginning of the season, I experienced this with a lot of players coming to me to ask me what runes actually are worth, and a lot of them expressing their frustration, saying, hey, listen, I got this rune for 1.25 each, for example. With low runes, people were saying, yeah, I was accepting low runes at 1.25 because that's what the site said. And now people are telling me they only accept low runes at 1.0, right? At low runes at 1 high rune. So what do? Did I just lose a bunch of high runes just by trading stuff, by selling stuff? And that's kind of like the tricky part. So since the site Pd2 tools, the way that it tracks prices is by tracking whatever is being listed on the trade site. So let's say I go to the archive and I go to low rune, for example. You'll see there's going to be like a bunch of listings, or yeah, let's go. So it says 2 Vex and a Ghoul, so this is 1.25. They want Ohm and a Mal, but we don't really know what Ohm is worth. So if you think Ohm is 0.75, they just want 0.85 for this low rune. If you think Ohm is 0.85, then they want 0.95. So again, very hard to understand exactly what people want. This guy wants 100 Worldstone Shard, 1.2, 1.1, 1. So the prices has a lot of variance, and That's kind of what makes things so tricky about tracking the listings. Just because you're tracking the listing doesn't mean that this is the actual price. Like, the average is not always the solution. Let's say that like one person would list their low runes at 1.5 and they have like 20 of them. They list like 20 low runes at 1.5 each. Well, they just really raised the average, but nobody's going to buy these low runes. Nobody wants these low runes. And that's kind of like the complicated part about tracking the market. The market, since it's a free market and it's based on people agreeing to trade, not based on a given prices that kind of exist and are steady. You can't really use the trade site as a representation of what things are worth. You can only go based on your experience and what you see people trading other runes at. Which is, of course, very hard for new players. It's very annoying as well. But I do think this is currently the best solution that we got, since the dev team definitely does not want to dictate rune prices for the community. They want this to be an open market where people decide to make trades based on what they value things as. So that's kind of like the problem number one. Problem number two with this is that if you track along and see like all the low runes that are being offered on the site, which are the basis for the prices for low runes on the economy tab. So if you track all these trades, you still have no access to more than 1% of the trades involving low runes. That's kind of like the second problem. All trades happening in the game, let's say if we hop into the game right now, right, and we go over here. Let's say somebody goes into my game and they want to buy something from me. Let's say they want to buy what's worth a low rune. Let's say they want to buy this Templar's Might. And I asked them, okay, yeah, no problem. I listed this, let's say, for 1.5. And they tell me, okay, I got a low rune and I got a Vex. And they give it to me. Low rune being like 1 high rune and a Vex being 0.5 high runes. Okay, and we make that trade. The site, the Pd2 tool site, has no access to this information. It actually has no access to any of the trades happening in game where people trade items for a certain rune, which is the actual information that they want in order to represent what runes are valued at. So that's kind of like the major problem with Pd2 tools when it comes to the economy tab. It has no access to 99% or higher amount even of the trades that are actually happening, which are the actual representation of what runes are being valued by actual players. So that's kind of like the main other issue. The third issue is kind of a smaller one, but just because something is listed on the site, and again, this is a tracking of what is being listed. Just because something is being listed doesn't mean it actually gets sold for that price. So people can list a ton of items for whatever price they want. For example, let's go to Viola Light Song. You'll see that it averages at 26.85. Okay, so now we'll go over Viola Light Song. It's a pretty rare item. It doesn't get traded often. It's like pretty expensive. So if we go to Viola Light Song, you'll see that we'll have people listing them for 30, 25, 25, 25. But all these 25s, if the item was actually worth 26 or higher, 23 even, all these would get snatched immediately, right? Rich people will just buy them and sell them for the price that they're actually worth, right? The reason that they're not being sold is probably because they're a little bit lower than the... People are willing to pay only lower than the prices being listed. That's why they're not being sold. So that's kind of like an important thing to keep in mind. Just because things are being listed doesn't mean they're actually being sold. And all of these like higher listings shouldn't really affect the average value because we have so many vials on the market right now and nobody's buying them. So see 25 higher and fast sell for a day, nobody's buying that, then the prices are probably lower than what is actually being listed. These are just things to keep in mind. These are kind of like general problems, main and minor problems I have with the Pd2 tools. I do think that has a lot of useful information to remember. If we think about like, let me go back to, I jump between these tabs so much. Yeah, okay, over here. So if we go to this tab, right, again, character exporter, the build viewer, the stats, the corrupted zone tracker, I think all these are wonderful tools, amazing for new players. It's just the economy tab that I think is a little bit, or maybe a lot of bit, misleading, especially for newer players who are less experienced and tend to just take it as an authority on pricing. So that's kind of the video I wanted to make today. I hope this is useful both for newer and older players. I've had so many discussions over this Pd2 tool site, whether it's on the stream, on the Discord, or in-game with other people. And these are generally my thoughts. If you have different thoughts, you have different ideas you want to bring up, make sure to drop them in the comments. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and have a good whatever you're having. I'll see you on the next stream or on the next video, and till the next time, bye.